So it is. Slow it down, everybody, slow it down. Slow it down, everybody, slow it down. Bow your crown, everybody, to the ground. Everybody, slow it down, everybody, slow it down. Let it go, 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 oh. Go slow, everything's just one we know. So flow, let it go, 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 oh. Go slow, everything's just one we know. So flow, we're all looking for something from the time we enter. Well, looking for something until we're back to center. Are you looking for something? Is it not in the room? Are you looking for something? Does it feel like doom? Let it go, 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 oh. Go slow, everything's just one we know. So flow, let it go, 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 oh. Go slow, everything's just one we know. So flow, I'm gonna breathe, surrender, that heart extender, just breathe. Now I'm gonna breathe, surrender, that heart extender, just breathe. Let it go, 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 go. Go slow, everything's just one we know. So flow, let go, go, go slow, everything's just one we know. So flow, slow it down, everybody, slow it down. Slow it down, everybody, slow it down. Bow your crown, everybody, to the ground. Everybody slow it down, everybody slow it down. Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to Hilltop.
Good morning, you guys. Good morning. Thank you guys for being here. What a beautiful day it is, the last day of May. And today is the Buddha moon. The Buddha moon. A micro, though I said Buddha moon, you're saying a micro blue moon. Further, pedagogy. Smaller. So it is a micro blue Buddha moon.
Look bright.
Yes. Yeah. I like that, don't you? So that's the moon. If you saw it today or last night, there it is, looking as beautiful as possibly can be, and it's nice to have you guys all here. And let's see what we got going on here. As far as announcements we're having a board meeting and a potluck next Sunday. We're having a small town hall this Sunday, and isn't it the second? Yes, Meredith. All right.
Sorry, coming up.
Please do. Come on up.
Last night was the first event that was organized by Reverend Laura for the group of us from the center to get to know each other and to go do something fun. So we went to dinner, went to a comedy show. We had a wonderful time. So I encourage you to come and join the other activities. It was great to get to know everybody, and it was fun.
Cool. Very good. Karen, you're missing somebody. He's on his way. Okay. So that happened. So yes, that happened last week. We're not having a potluck next Sunday? Oh, next Sunday isn't the second Sunday. It's the first Sunday. Never mind. And we're not having a board meeting next Sunday.
Well, we are.
We are? I think so. I thought we are too. We're having a board meeting next Sunday. Are we having a board meeting next Sunday? Do I even know anything?
May 17th. Here's your slide. No, this is a town hall. It's town halls.
So there's a town hall meeting today. There isn't a board meeting next Sunday. No. Gotcha. All All right. So whatever's going on, that's what's happening. So yeah. So what is true, what I do know is that Jim is doing his Kinship Cafe on Sundays at 9, between 9 and 10. And anything you want to say about that, Jim? Sure. Please do.
So next week, we're touching on one of the core concepts of Taoism that deals with the issue of oneness and what the implications of that are, specifically around the issues of morality. So I highly encourage you to come and check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Fabulous. Okay. Let's see. Anything else? Yes. Memorial for our beloved Liz is next Saturday at 2:00. And you are all invited to come and celebrate a life well lived. And what a joy that is. So that's happening. The Open Mind Gift Shop is there and open, and good and fun things are in there to boot. The rentals are available. If you know anybody that wants to rent the building for any kind of event, it is available for you. And that's it. That's it. Okay. So, prayer. God, yes, prayer. Yeah. Leave it. I was going to say, leave it to the atheists to remind me about prayer. So, prayer. So if your heart has been touched in any way today or any other time this week and you would like prayer, please do not leave without prayer. There's a couple ways you can do it. Paul will be running a prayer circle a few minutes after service in the Emerson room. So you can go there. You can talk to either Terry if they would pray with you, and they'd be more than happy to. You can fill out a prayer request in the narthex, and the practitioners get together every Friday morning and we pray. And we pray for you. So yes, please do not leave without prayer. There. Okay, so question of the day. So this is something that I've been pondering all week. And I'm going to read you the quote, and then I'm going to invite you just to consider this as a thing to say here, which is this. Forgive yourself for not knowing earlier what only time could teach. Forgive yourself for not knowing earlier what only time could teach. So, with that, here is the question. What are you forgiving yourself for not knowing that only time could have taught? Okay, want to give that one a try, Jim?
Sure. So this is a tricky one because it could be very, intimate in terms of the question. But for me, I would say the lesson that I learned through time is that nothing could have happened other than the way that it did. And that has helped me to be much more forgiving about almost everything. So that would be the key thing for me.
Well, yeah. Thanks, Jim. Yeah. You basically said what I wanted to say, but a lot more concisely and better. But yeah, for me, it's my forgiveness journey. It's a complicated word for me because I had a lot of struggle with my family and my family of origin, my parents with their trauma from war. But time showed me that, like Jim says, that was completely just the way my nervous system is not my fault. Their nervous system is not their fault. And that's just a greater example of everybody, that the things that we carry, that we pass on, are not any one individual's problem, but it's a systemic problem that we then can have more understanding, forgiveness, and kind of empathy for.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you.
So the way I would address that is there are a lot of parts within me that are wounded, and those parts tend to come out. And when I discover those parts, it's an opportunity to heal my own self. And the parts of me that are funny, and the parts of me that are grieving, and the parts of me that are inquisitive, that it's all an opportunity, and that in the end there aren't any bad parts. There's just parts of me that need more love and more healing. And then speaking to what Jim has said, there was a yoga teacher of mine. I'll never forget what she said. She said that we may not know the answers to our present situation, but the answers, with patience, the answers will reveal themselves in time.
Very good. All right.
My yoga master. So
So anyone here? So yes, a lot of people out there. Yeah.
We all make decisions from time to time. And from time to time, you don't have all the information that you might otherwise have. And you just have to make the best decision you can with the information available. And don't kick yourself too hard when you find out you screwed up.
Yep. I agree. I agree.
The truth is, for me, I have always known what I've known, and it hasn't taken any time at all. What has taken the time is siphoning the courage and the confidence to act on what it is that I know.
Yeah.
Decades.
Yeah, decades. Right on. Okay. Clay's got his hand up here.
It's true that the older you get, the wiser you get. I found that true friends and good family are more valuable throughout time. And the older the friends are, and the more valuable those are.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. All right.
That I'm always doing the very best I can. I have always been doing the very best I can, and so is everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Very wise. Anyone else?
I forgive myself for not being perfect, for being human, having human frailties, making mistakes, and realizing that in reality I am perfect.
Okay, there you go. Beautiful. Anyone else? Anyone else? All right, with that, Paul, man, you're on.
Yeah. Okay. So hello everyone. My name is Paul. It's a privilege and an honor to be up here as your practitioner of service and to pray with you. And if I just want to mention, if you're new here today, please feel free to ask any questions if you have any questions, and I would love to get to know you more. So with that, what we do is we start our service off by just really praying into the service and really introducing our community and the beloved love that we have for each other. Because it's just something, prayer is just something amazing because, and speaking for the question that we had just explored, is this, we gather in community to heal. And we have a lot of parts of ourselves that are just need healing, whatever we may be going through, or if you're not going through something. And those parts can elicit these thoughts, right? And so our philosophy is based off how we think and how we can utilize how we think to find greater healing. And so we can draw in using the laws of physics and energy to create more of a beautiful life for each other. And what psychology calls it is cognitive distortion. And so with prayer, we're allowed to really heal those thoughts that are cognitively distorted, and to allow that to heal more. And so let us just simply pray into that. And if you'd like to close your eyes, you can, or whatever you like to do, however it is. Let's just start out by taking a deep breath. And so what I know that this space is a divine space. That everything here that is transpiring in this moment, it's as if it's a divine appointment. All the faces and the conversations and the love that is shared between each and every one of us. What I know to be true is that it is a divine presence that is moving through us. It is a way that we can really look deeper within ourselves and heal. Knowing that every word that is shared here today is simply a word that really leads us to a greater sense of wholeness, a greater sense of life, a greater sense of truth, and ultimately, a greater sense of awareness. a greater sense of awareness that we can just sit easily in our own bodies and know that we rest and we just feel the presence of love. And as it just allows our nervous system to be at ease, whether it's just a little bit or a lot, but just know that as we continue this day and our week that comes forth, that we are blessed in each and every way, and that we can drop in just a little bit deeper. And so I know that everything that transpires, the words that is shared by beloved Reverend Dr. Guy, and the music, that all of it is a divine harmony. It is a concert, and it is basically a reflection of what our lives truly is. Whatever is arising in our experience, let us know that we are blessed in each and every way, that everything is an opportunity to grow, to experience love fully. And so with that, I give thanks, I let it be so, and so it is. And so I thought this reading here it fit perfectly what the discussion of today's talk will be about. And so the reading goes for your contemplation. The person in the grip of an old distress says things that are not pertinent, does things that don't work, fails to cope with the situation, and endures terrible feelings that have nothing to do with the present. Harvey Jackins. And now we will sit with that with a brief meditation just to allow ourselves to just drop in deeper and to really just be in that imaginal space. With a grateful heart, and so it is.
So it is. This is an empathetic sing-along from Carsey Blanton. We've done it a few times. It goes, be good to the people. Be good to the people. Be good to the people you love, and love everybody alive. Jesus Christ was a handsome man. He had nothing to hide. He said, give this bread to the hungry and bring the homeless inside. Jesus Christ was a dangerous man. That's the way that he died, saying, be good to the people you love, and love everybody alive. Be good to the people. Be good to the people. Be good to the people you love, and love everybody alive. Dr. King was a preacher. He had God on his side, saying, all of God's children are brothers. Don't cast your brother aside. Dr. King was a dangerous man. That's the way that he died, saying, be good to the people you love, and love everybody alive. Be good to the people. Be good to the people. Be good to the people you love, and love everybody alive. There ain't nothing more criminal than kindness. There ain't nothing more valuable than blindness. We'll make anyone a martyr or a minus. Everybody's got a right to be free. Yeah. I said, be good to the people. Be good to the people. Be good to the people you love, and love everybody alive. I said, love everybody alive. Let's keep that going. I said, love everybody alive. Two more times. I said, love everybody alive. One more time. Love everybody alive. True story. Much love. Please welcome Reverend Dr. Guy Williams.
Thank you. Love that song. Nice. Dropping things. Here we go. So I forgot to welcome those in the virtual world. So those of you who are watching online, good morning. Thank you for being here as well. So my talk this morning is titled The Three Fundamentals. And what I thought the three fundamentals were earlier this week when I started working on the talk are different from the three fundamentals I wrote later. And that had a lot to do with a couple events that happened this weekend. So the first thing that happened for me, didn't happen just for me, but I had an opportunity to be with, is I went to a ministerial panel at Universal Spirit Center, my friend Reverend Kevin Busey's community, and he was there, and Reverend Patty Paris from Vision was there, and it was good for us to kind of hang out because all of us came from Kathy Hearn's church, Pacific Church of Religious Science. And I remember we were talking about this, and I remember one time saying there that, gosh, I can't imagine ever leaving this spiritual community. And then all these churches have been, or these spiritual communities have been birthed from that one. So I was just really thrilled about that. And, but it got me thinking about something that I had heard, I don't even know when I heard it, but it's a quote from Howard Thurman where he says this, he says, there are two questions that we have to ask ourselves. The first question is, where am I going? And the second question is, who will go with me? If you get these questions in the wrong order, you are in trouble. Where am I going, and who's going with me? And if we get those mixed up, mischief can ensue. And in many ways, it's always about the authorship of our life. How are we writing the script of our life, or is it something that we're outsourcing to someone else? And so I had to ask myself this question too. Where am I going? What is it that motivates me? What gets me up in the morning, and where things are? Wallace Wattles, the owner of one of the coolest names in New Thought, Wallace Wattles, in his book, The Science of Getting Rich, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, but he says he says, success in life is becoming who you want to be. Success in life is becoming who you want to be. And that's kind of a fundamental question, because I think that question begins then to set the stage, or at least set the map of the direction that we're wanting to go with and who we want to travel with. Another way of saying that is, so for myself, I thought about that, and I thought, what is success for me? And what does that mean about who I want to be? And for myself, the question is, I want to be someone who is wise, kind, and generous. That's who I want to be. That's what success would look like for me, is if I could attain some level of wisdom, if I could practice kindness, and I could live a generous life. That would be it. So Jesus kind of puts it another way, where he says, seek first the kingdom of God and its right living, and all else is giving. And I think that's kind of I always enjoy that text, but I think contextually it's important to look at, because when Jesus uses the word, or whoever wrote what Jesus said, because Jesus didn't write or speak Greek, but the Gospels were written in Greek. And so, but in the Greek, the word that is used for the kingdom is a word basileia. And it's not a king in sort of a top-down way. In fact, if one reads the Hebrew Bible or the Christian Bible, it's an injunction always against kingdoms. The temptation, like Lord of the Rings, is always, don't become a pharaoh, because remember when you lived under the bondage of a pharaoh, why would you want to do that to yourself? Why would you want to kind of give that away? So basileia is more of a principle. It's an organizing factor. And so seek first the kingdom is really seeking first a principle, a beingness, an organizing principle for your life. And when that is there, and we live our life according to what those principles may be, then everything else is given to us. So, the question that I would ask is what is success for you? What does it mean to live a successful life? Is it having something, doing something, going somewhere, being something? And in order for that, what are the things that we know? And something that the Hebrew Bible teaches us and the Christian Bible does as well. In fact, it'll be one of the fundamentals that I'll talk to is no one is great alone. No one achieves their life's dreams alone. No one is successful alone. None ever. And, Aristotle says that the only kind of person who can be alone is a god or a beast. So we kind of know then that what we hold as our direction of success, then we ask ourselves, who's going to go there with us? And I like it how T.S. Eliot writes it this way. He says, it is to do the useful thing, to say the courageous thing, to contemplate the beautiful thing. That is enough for one person's life. To do the useful thing, to say the courageous thing, to contemplate the beautiful thing. That is enough for our life to be. And I sit with that because I think in terms of, what is it that I love? What is it that I love doing? What gets me up and motivates me? What is it that supports me being kind, generous, and wise? And for myself personally, because I can't speak it for you, but for myself personally, it is, I'm a nerd, and proudly speaking so, I am a nerd. I love the ancient texts, the ancient wisdom, and how it's relevant for today. I love literature and how wisdom can be imparted there. And I love being with a group of people and sharing this. Parker Palmer says, education is creating a space for learning to happen. And one of my passions is to create a space for learning to happen. And that brings me to the second thing that that happened this weekend. And that was that I got to teach in the School of Ministry, which is something that I do periodically. But before that, what I want to do is I want to ask you, what is it that you do that is useful? What is useful? What is it that you express? How do you do, and what is it that you do? Lee, he creates music. It is useful. It supports the world. Other people do different things. What is it that you do that is useful? And do you do it courageously? And where is the beauty in your life that refreshes you and restores you and renews you? It is said, that beauty can save the world, as Dostoevsky says. And where is the beauty in your life? Because it's an essential, and I'll get to a little bit about that a little bit more. But like I said, the other thing that I got to do is I got to teach, and one of the classes that I teach in the School of Ministry is the Metaphysical Bible. And is it useful? I think the sacred texts are extremely useful, especially in a world today, whether that be the Quran or the Bhagavad Gita or the Christian Bible or the Hebrew Bible or Lord of the Rings or The Idiot by Dostoevsky or the Brothers Karamazov, whatever the case may be. What is it in those stories that is useful for us in the world that we live in today? How is that wisdom imparted? And how does it inspire us to live a courageous life, a life with heart, a life with passion? And does it create beauty? So as I was sitting and I was thinking about this and the usefulness in these things, and do you find success in this? So then that comes, who comes with us along the way? Who is your community in that? Because, part of what brings us into one of the fundamental aspects of the spiritual journey to wholeness is to begin with a mindset or an understanding that we are part of something greater than ourselves. And because we are part of something greater than ourselves, where do we tangibly give our energy, our connection, our beingness to something other than who just I am? The other part of that, what I would say is the second fundamental, if finding that we are part of something greater than ourselves and acting in that, goes to something I said just a few moments ago, which is this, is to form relationships. We are, when one reads the Hebrew Bible and God in the creation story, which I kind of want to talk about that a little bit today, but in the creation story, God is creating this and it's good, God's creating that and it's good, God's creating this and it's good, and God creates Adam, and his comment is, it's not good for him to be alone. So part of this idea of living successfully is living in relationship. Now, define relationship as you will and what that means. not everyone is called to be a householder. Some people are called to live other kinds of lives. But none of us are wired to be alone. Kind of with me on this one so far? So I just kind of want to massage this and sort of play with this. But one of the things that, so a couple things came out of these conversations that I was in. The first one was that when we are part of something else, or something that I'll just get to in a little bit, is that every spiritual community, this was something that the ministers, we were getting together and we were chatting, but we were noticing every spiritual community has a soul. And the soul is often older than the pulpit the minister inherits. And I want to get to this in a little bit, but I want to get that by going a direction, and part of the direction of the thing that I'm most passionate about, or where I like to go. And so, so why is it for me? Because it's one of the questions that I ask my students is, why is it that learning or studying the sacred text or literature is so important? Why should we expend it? And what I'll tell you, it's not for the answers. Because if we're reading these texts to get answers, we're doing the wrong thing. One of my favorite writers in fantasy and science fiction, Madeleine L'Engle, says it this way. She says, the minute we begin to think that we have all the answers, we forget the questions. So we read these things to wrestle with them, to engage in the questions, to expand the mind, to open the imagination, to live in a world of possibilities. We're not looking for answers, systems, and do this and do this and do this and do this and that will happen. But really what we're doing is we're engaging in something, and it's just more fun to do it with other people, to kind of expand and kind of go there. So, I was thinking about this because Jim and I were talking before service, and we were talking about a book. And it'll be a book that you'll probably hear more of, because it's one that excited me like 20 years ago, and he's reading it now. And you probably read it 20 years ago too when it first came out. And now it's a book called Ishmael. Anybody know Ishmael? Friggin' brilliant book. Anyway, you'll hear more of that as it kind of comes down. But I was thinking in terms of this, and I kind of want to give an example of what I mean by why I am passionate about these sacred texts. Because I think they need rehabilitation, because probably if you were like me, you grew up with the myths and stories and legends of either the Hebrew Bible or the Quran or the Bhagavad Gita or whatever the case may be. And it was sort of dictated to you that this is what you're supposed to think and this is how it is. And it was often wrong. And it was often about conformity and kind of missing the whole point. Because, until we truly know ourselves, we don't really begin to appreciate what we see on the outside. Something that our founder used to say is, the outermost God and the innermost God is the same God, however you define that to be. But he also said that what we perceive of as the divine is our experience of the divine. And so if something has been dictated to us about a king, a lord, a manor, or whatever the case may be, then we're kind of missing it, because it's really, these stories are really stories about something different. And let me give you an example. We have probably all heard or read the creation stories. The opening chapter of the book of Genesis, which is interesting because in the 12th century, there was a Talmudic scholar by the name of Rishi. And what he said is, well, I'll quote the statement and then we'll go from there. So the book of Genesis opens with, in the beginning created God the heavens and the earth. And the earth was without form and void. darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit moved upon the waters. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. Wasn't the sun. That doesn't happen for a couple days later. So Rishi says that everything else in the Hebrew Bible is a commentary on that statement. Everything else that's written. It's kind of like Alfred North Whitehead says that all philosophy that we understand today is a footnote to Plato. In this, everything is a commentary on it. And so I invite you just for a contemplation of what that might look like. So when we read that story, the first thing that we become aware of is that God did not create out of nothing. I think it was Thomas Aquinas who wrote about creation ex nihilo, creation for nothing. God said, let there be light, and boom, everything was there. But if you read it, that's not what's there. What's there? Formlessness, void, darkness, the deep, chaos, darkness. And in many ways, this is where all creation happens. It's in the darkness, in the deep, sometimes in the chaos. And so in that, the first 3 days of the creation myth are about how God is bringing order to the universe, separating the waters, separating darkness for light, separating land from sea. And so there's this creative process about bringing everything to order. And what I offer for your consideration is, in any creative process that you do, is probably the first thing that we do is bring order out of chaos. Because it's hard to function in chaos. It's hard to function in the void. And so the first process of the creative process then is to bring order to it. And then other things start to happen. The grasses on the land begin to create it, fishes in the sea, animals in the field, and human beings. And in all of these things, God is saying one thing, or he's saying two things. Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. In other words, the injunction to all creation is to flourish. All creation. It is to flourish, expand, multiply, grow, success, to flourish. That's what the whole thing is. And then as human beings, what he says is be fruitful, multiply, and have stewardship over the creation. In other words, in this myth, in this legend, there is an invitation for us to continue the work of creation, to continue what the divine has instituted in this great myth. Because it's like, okay, we got it in motion. Now you're stewards. Now it's yours to bring life, to bring flourishing in all creation. And that's what you and I have been invited to do. But as Dr. Holmes says, we see the condition on the outside and we heal it on the inside. So the creative expression that we're invited to participate in comes from our own experience of wholeness, our own experience of connection, our own experience of flourishing. Because if it's not there in us, it can't be there outside of us. If our imagination has been compromised by trauma or fear, we have to re-engage our imagination before we can do anything. So there's something also, I think, which is really interesting and beautiful about this story from a Kabbalistic point of view. So creation is a 7-day experience. So in Kabbalah, and it's divided into 3 segments. The first 3 days, the second 3 days, and then the 7th day. But the first 3 days are about bringing order, bringing balance, and in a sense, creating beauty. And in Kabbalah, number 3 is Tiferet, which is exactly that: balance, harmony, beauty. So that's the first thing. And then the second part is balance, beauty, harmony. But it's different because it's coming from the chaos, from order, and it just builds on that and builds on that and builds on that. And then there is the 7th day. And 7, as you probably know, is a very mystical number. It's about completion and eternity. But it's also something different because you have 3, 3, and 1. And 1 is about unity, about oneness. So this very mystical story is about the creative process and how it happens and how you and I are invited to continue the stewardship of this creative process. Now, I've got a whole series of talks or lessons or teachings or whatever on why that seems a little out of balance or wiggy these days from these mystical stories. But I won't get to that today for time reasons. But so there are 3 fundamentals in this whole story or this whole experience. The first is we are part of something greater than ourselves. Like it or not, that's how it is. Whether it be an atom that is complete within itself and part of something called a molecule is complete within itself and part of something called a cell and a body and a species and a planet and a solar system and a galaxy or whatever, and you name it, everything is complete and part of something greater than itself. And the energy of creation since the Big Bang is eros, yearning, desiring, relation. In fact, the whole energy, if we want to understand, it is said that if we want to understand the mind of God, look to nature. Thomas Aquinas again said, there are 2 sacred texts. The first sacred text is the book of nature. So if you want to understand the nature of the divine, look to the first text. Go take a walk in the woods. Go scuba diving. Go surfing. Go do whatever that is. Get yourself in nature, and you will see how nature is. And the very essence of nature is that it is open and relational, which means that the divine itself is open and relational. And we are invited to live an open and relational life. So the fundamentals are we are part of something greater than ourselves. We live in a relational universe. And the arc of this universe is to flourish. That's kind of it. That's right there. That's the story. So we have been in a conversation here about the soul of our community. And it's something that I inherited. It's something that we have adjusted ourselves to, and it seems to be the default that we fall back on, which is this. Deep breath. The soul of this community does not arc towards flourishing. There is something deep in there. And again, if Dr. Holmes says that we see it on the outside and heal it on the inside, as your minister and friend, my invitation to ask this question: are you flourishing? Or is there chaos that needs to be cleaned up? Are you feeling disconnected to something bigger than yourself? Are you feeling a need for a deeper sense of relationship in your life? And we are here to help. Because I think we are at a point in our community where it's all hands on deck. So here's the invitation. The invitation is this, where are we going Where are you going as an individual? And would you be willing to journey with this group together? And would you be willing to take the journey of flourishing? With the science of mind and spirit to basically teachings, our mission is this, is to provide tools for successful living and to help make the world a better place. That's our mission as an organization, to provide spiritual tools to enrich our life and to help make the world a better place. So, how do we collaborate in doing that together? One of the things that Kurt and I have been talking about is we would like to extend an invitation to each of you to embark on the spiritual practice of flourishing. We will provide tools. We will provide materials, things to do. But one of the things that that Waddles says, and I'll tell you what, let me start at the very beginning here. So one of the books that I'm looking at is a book by Wallace Waddles, and he was a really interesting character, all things said and done. You know, he's one of the early founders of New Thought. And he wrote a book called The Science of Getting Rich. And I have a really hard time with the word rich. There's a lot of connotations in that one that create a lot of separation for me. It's kind of like a lot of you have an issue with God, so you use another word. That's fine. That's good. However, you can appreciate the principle. Don't let the word get in the way. So to me, it's not the science of getting rich. It's the science of flourishing. And there are spiritual principles and tools that we can do to do this. Because what Wallace suggests for us to consider is this, that none of us can fully be alive without good food, comfort, comfortable clothing, a warm shelter, and without the freedom of, and without freedom from fear. So that's what we can offer. And what he also suggests is that it's perfectly right that we should give our attention to the science of flourishing. It is perfectly correct for each person here to commit themselves to the spiritual practice of flourishing. Because if we go back to the Hebrew Bible, it's the invitation that we have been given. In many ways, it's the commission that we're given to let the planet flourish. And in order for the planet to flourish, we have to flourish. In order to, and our community has to flourish. It's the divine injunction. And if it is not flourishing, we can't look outside of ourselves. We have to look inside of ourselves as individuals and collectively of why that is. What he offers is this, is like always produces like. Like always produces like. Another way of saying it is we reap what we sow. If we plant tomatoes in the garden, we can't expect corn. What the seeds of our intentions are the experiences that we will harvest. And so you will be hearing a lot of this for personal reasons, because it's my intention that we as a community really begin to heal the soul of this community that goes back before any of us were here. To a place where we had moments of flourishing. And why not create that as a possibility? And I don't think it's going to happen overnight. Because sometimes I think we want instant. But sometimes it's not instant. But sometimes it's the journey, having been someone who knows Harley Davidson, what we say in the Harley Davidson world, it's the journey, not the destination. What's more fun and more enjoyable is the long journey to flourishing and not wanting it to happen immediately. We're going to go. We're not going to be alone. We're going to feel connected to something bigger than ourselves. We're going to build relationships, and we will flourish. And I offer you this prayer in closing from one of my spiritual heroes, Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. You've heard me say it before, but I just offer it as a prayer today. Above all, trust the slow work of God. We are quite naturally impatient in everything to reach the end without delay. We should like to skip the intermediate stages. We are impatient of being on the way to something unknown, something new. And yet, it is the law of all progress that it is made by passing through some stages of instability, and that may take a very long time. And so I think it is with you. Your ideas mature gradually. Let them grow. Let them shape themselves without undue haste. Don't try to force them on as though you could do today what time, that is to say, what grace and circumstances acting on your own goodwill will make of you tomorrow. Only God could say what this new spirit gradually forming within you will be. Give this divine the benefit of believing that its hand is leading you, and accept the anxiety of feeling yourself in suspense and incomplete. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Rev. That's perfect. Because I've got a song about the impatience of the journey and how to get over that. This one's called Movie Poster. Because life is not like a movie poster. Well, I don't usually write songs like this, but I got this feeling I can't dismiss. See, I've been afraid, played the part too long, chasing perfection, wondering what went wrong. But life's not like a movie poster. It's a stop, start, fall apart roller coaster. So stand up tall, you can't win them all, and you don't always hit the note you're supposed to. You don't always hit the note you're supposed to. So I'm strutting into everything, don't care if I lose. They'll be looking at me strange, like all confused. Keep your chin up, man, don't you understand? Some of the best things came from a change of plan. Now life's not like a movie poster. It's a stop, start, fall apart roller coaster. But stand up tall, you can't win them all, and you don't always hit the note you're supposed to. You don't always hit the note you're supposed to. It's not a selfie stick or a get rich quick. It's not a headline, no, you can't rewind. Nobody shows their deleted scenes. It's the highs and the lows, but mostly in between. So keep lending your hand, humming your tune. You could reach for the stars and fall for the moon. People hurting and the world's gone berserk. Won't you breathe with me, cause our lungs still work. Take a deep breath. And life's not like a movie poster. It's a stop, start, fall apart roller coaster. But I'm okay, it just wasn't my day. And you don't always hit the note you're supposed to. No, you don't always hit the note you're supposed to. You don't always hit the note you're supposed to. Well, I don't usually write songs like this, but I got this feeling I can't dismiss. I was too busy wishing for my destiny. I was missing all the magic right in front of me. Hey, truth. Thank you very much. Give it up for Jim Jones, always on the percussion.
Oh, awesome. And hello. And thanks again, fellas. It's always a pleasure working with you up here. And do you guys want to know a secret?
Yes.
Because once I tell you the secret, it won't be a secret anymore.
Duality.
I love coming here to this building.
It's like the worst kept secret.
And in fact, I'm here every day, Monday through Sunday. And I have a martial arts community here. It's like a community within a community. And I love seeing their faces when they come here to class. Their faces just light up and they're in just complete joy. And so that's what inspires me as well, to see when people come here and they're just alive. And that's why I was thinking about how I look at this building. And this building is not just a building. It's a temple. And so, I want to bring back the meditation circle. I ran a meditation circle for 2 years here, and it was every Wednesday, and I want to do that again. And other things that we're planning on as a community to grow and to flourish. And I think it's important, just like the talk, Reverend Guy was talking about. Like, we got to look under the hood. We can't just sugarcoat everything. And I think that's one of the misnomers about our philosophy, is that people tend to sugarcoat things. And, the brighter the light, the more of the shadow, right? And so we have to have that courage. And that's why we're getting together today. And we're having to talk about a community and how it goes, and how our temple is just such a beautiful place where it serves us and it guides us each and every day. And so with that, there's a prayer that we are reciting every Sunday in the hopes to really bring about this resurgence of flourishing within each and every one of us. And it's not only you, it's us up here. So we're not coming up here and we're not gaslighting you guys, right? To say, oh, you guys, that we're all in this together. We're all like looking under the hood and saying, what needs to be cleaned up within each and every one of us? And so this prayer is a beautiful way to do that. And it goes, Divine Beloved, allow me to give with complete ease and abundance, knowing that you are the ultimate source of all. Let me be an easy, open conduit for your prosperity. Let me trust that all my own needs are always met in amazing ways, and that it's safe to give freely as my heart guides. And equally, let me feel wide open to receiving. May I know my own value, beauty, and worthiness without question. Let me allow others the supreme pleasure of giving to me. May I feel worthy to receive in every possible way. Change me into one who can fully love, forgive, and accept myself, so I may carry your light without restriction. Let everything that needs to go, go. Let everything that needs to come, come. I am utterly your own. You are me. I am you. We are one. And truly, all is well.
It's people coming through, coming through, coming through. People like you and you and you. You didn't have to, but you do, but you do. You keep on coming through, coming through, coming through. Yeah, you. Yeah, you. Thank you. The people coming through.
Oh, I like that slide. Do you guys see it too?
Totally. That's it. That's it.
I wonder if sometime they're going to play a trick on me and show me one slide. You guys are all looking up there. I'm looking that way, and I'm thinking I'm seeing something. You guys are seeing something else. So thank you, Jeff, for being here today and doing our sound. And and Michael was there with you, so thank you. And Mike Popovich, thank you for your supporting and all the things that you're doing. You and Ann in the kitchen, and Kurt and Deanna and Julia in the kitchen. So we want to thank all of them. Who are our greeters today? You guys were great. Thank you, guys. Always good to have you there. Lee and Jim, it was great having you guys up there. Paul, it's always a pleasure. Thank you all for being here. Noreen is in the gift shop. So anybody and everybody Andrea is doing, I don't even know what to count because she's always doing something and doing it well, by the way. So anybody and everybody that supports this community, our board, our practitioners, anybody, even you being here, it's so important. So my heart is just filled in gratitude this moment for anybody and everybody that is part of our community, the virtual community, the live community here. And what I want to say is this, is that, again, if your heart has been touched, do not leave without prayer. But I want you to know that the very moment of creation, that Big Bang 13 plus whatever billion years ago, everything about your life was there in that moment, continuing to unfold to this moment here. And that the very force of that creation, the very genesis of that creation, the very intelligence, that force of evolution, that impetus, that presence of unrelenting love that was there, knows you, sees you, and cares about you. And so, today, as a blessing, may this day be filled with amazement and wonder and awe. May you be surprised in a very good way to remind you that you are here to flourish, that you are part of something greater than yourself, and that we live in a universe that is open and relational, the very essence of what it is. And it expresses itself as each and every one of us, and it expresses itself as this community. And so with grateful hearts, we let it be. So mote it be.
All right, a little perfect song for this slide we had with the galaxy.
I love it.
Reminder that we are here, we are here. Out of nowhere, you were right there, stood right by me. I knew your face. Yeah, you got my back like a jetpack. You boost me up like outer space. And we're dancing through the stars, is how we came to be. Won't you dance through the stars with me? Yeah, we're dancing through the stars, is all we really do. Wanna dance through the stars with you. We're designed to think to survive. You help me zoom out when you arrive. We're the same things, all just starlings, my darling earthlings. Don't you feel alive? 'Cause we're dancing through the stars, is how we came to be. Won't you dance through the stars with me? Yeah, we're dancing through the stars, is all we really do. Wanna dance through the stars with you. Everywhere we go, we're dancing through the stars. Everyone we know, we're dancing through the stars. Every kiss we steal, everything we feel, we're dancing through the stars. We are, yeah. Why am I here I've got an idea, the music I hear when I'm with you. Let's get working, pull back that curtain, so the people hurting can hear it too. 'Cause we're dancing through the stars, is how we came to be. Won't you dance through the stars with me? And we're dancing through the stars, is all we really do. Want to dance through the stars with you. Out of nowhere, you were right there, stood right by me. I knew your face. Yeah, you're my hero. T-minus 0. We're taking off now, back to our place. And we're dancing through the stars, is how we came to be. Won't you dance through the stars with me? Yeah, we're dancing through the stars, is all we really do. Want to dance through the stars with you. Everywhere we go, we're dancing through the stars. Everyone we know, we're dancing through the stars. Every kiss we steal, everything we feel, we're dancing through the stars. We are, here we are, we are singing. Here we are, we are. Here we are, we are. Here we are, we are. One more time. Here we are, we are. True story. Happy Sunday, everybody. Much love.